Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I am here to have a play with the easy number tags that Barbara on 49Dragonflies did on her channel recently. She made the most fantastic number tags using kind of bits of ephemera and numbers that she already had in her stash. And she just made it look so clever, and she used a few fantastic techniques that I had never really seen done before. So I have a whole bunch of stuff here. My desk is super messy, so I just, you know, put that out there and sort of apologise now before we even get started. But yeah, we are going to get very messy in this video, but hopefully we're going to have lots and lots of fun. So basically, she made her tags, I think she kind of did the bases of about 6. I probably will just do, I think, 3 to get started. So I've got here just some card. Now this is kind of double-sided. As you can see, my ink was running out on the back, so I thought this was perfect as like a scrap to sort of use up. I'm just going to cut it down to make a sort of tag shape, and then just going to go in here at the corners, and then whoops, one on the other side. So I will link Barbara's video below. I mean, she just did 1 or 2 things that actually I had never seen done before, and they were so brilliant. The you know, effects that she achieved, they were just awesome, and I couldn't wait to come up and have a go. Now I also have these ones which are covered with some floral paper, so I'm going to have a go with those. I probably don't want to do 2 the same, so I'll move that one to one side. I've got this as well, which is kind of obviously, as you can see, a, you know, an offcut from something else. So, you know, this is a great way to use up scraps and things. And this is just on copy paper, copy weight paper. So all I'm going to do is cut that down, and then I will just glue that onto some thicker card so that I've got a sort of firmer base for that. So let me just pull in some thick card. Oops. So I can use this card here, and I'm just going to go all the way around with my glue. I mean, just so it's a little bit sturdier, basically. Okay. Yes, I have not tried this prior to this video, so I hope that it's going to go okay and not be a complete disaster. I mean, obviously numbers seem to be all the rage at the moment, and you know, I'm loving using numbers myself as well. And as I say, I mean, she did a sort of mixed media tags video incorporating things, so I've pulled in from my stash some little bits and pieces that I'm going to give, you know, have a go with. So I'm just going to cut this down again, forming a suitable tag shape like that. Okay, there we go. I mean, I don't really do an awful lot with mixed media stuff, and I mean, if I'm truthful, I'm kind of a little bit scared of it, but you know, there's no need to be, and you know, it's good to push ourselves outside of our boundaries, isn't it, and have a play. So she started by, let me just move my things that I have brought along for the video sort of over a bit so they're not just monopolising the whole desk. She started by coffee dyeing her, or coffee staining her pieces. I probably don't need to do that, to be honest, because mine are sort of, you know, reasonable colours. However, I have got the stains by Patty Pockets, and I could just try a little bit of that and see how that would look. So I've got my little foam brush, and I'll just put this onto the book page whilst I do this. So just going to paint that over like that. I mean, it's just giving it a bit more definition, I suppose, really. So making it look a little bit more vintage than it did already. There we go. Okay, so I'll just leave that one to dry. Well, perhaps we'll do this one as well. So, and this is for sale on Patricia Varimontes on her shop. Again, I will try and remember to link it below. I am shocking with linking, so if I forget that, please nudge me and I can do that. So, but it's her own fantastic product that, I mean, it's really convenient for just doing small pieces. You know, when you come to do a project and you think, oh, I wish I'd coffee dyed that. It's just perfect for those types of things. So there we go. Right. Let me pop that to one side. So I'll leave the brush, whoops, leave the brush on the book page so I'm not getting it on my carpet. Right, there we go. Now, what I want to do here, oops, is hopefully not touch that too much. Do some background detailing here. Now, I've pulled in, these are stamps of, they were actually my son's when he was very young, very small. These were the only ones that I could actually find, to be fair. Again, Barbara had some really awesome stamps on hers. These seem to be the only number stamps that I could actually find. You know, I don't think I've actually got any number stamps. Generally, I don't think I have any. Unless they, you know, unless I've missed them, which is always a possibility. But she had some really big ones and, you know, lots of different variety. So again, you know, you may want to obviously, you know, check her video out and see which stamps that she used. But I've got these ones and hers were quite grungy, the effects that she got. So what I did before I came along for the video, this was the only thing I did test out, was just to see what these are like. And actually you can see it's coming out quite grungy anyway. It's, you know, by grungy what I mean is it's not a solid black stamp, if that makes sense, which I rather like that. So, you know, that's what I thought we could do. And then what I also thought we could do is I've got all my little letter stamps. Now I'm not quite sure which one is probably going to be best for this, but I'm thinking this one. What I thought we could do is just do a sort of number, so an N. Now unfortunately the O is going to be quite big on that one, so I have got these ones here. You know, these are like £1, and so over the time I have actually ended up buying loads of these, even though I don't particularly use them very often. So I'm thinking we could do things like that. I'm also going to probably use my number printables because of course I've got them. But that's kind of another little thing that I'm going to try and do. So let's just do some background on here. So I'm waiting obviously for these two to dry, so I'm not going to do those right now. I'll just wait for these two to dry. But I can do lots of prep work. So I'm going to take the number 4. I don't know why, but for some reason a number 4 seems to be the one that, you know, I like the best for some reason. Don't ask me why that would be. Oh, I've got that completely lopsided. What a wally. And perhaps we'll just have a number 6 or something down here. Oh well, that's not come out at all, so that wasn't great. And then what I might do is where we've done that number and the 4 is actually stamp that onto something else. So again, what I could do is just stamp it onto here, for instance. So we'll just start with the, no, not the O. Did I put the N back? Must have put the N back. Sorry, going completely mad. So we're going to start with the N. So we'll just then pop that there. And then the little O. Just there. And then we'll just do the number 6 again. Hopefully that will come out a bit better this time. Okay. And we'll just put that there. And then often there's a little dot. Now, do I have my black Sharpie handy? No, doesn't look like it. That's a shame. Well, if you had a little black, you know, pen, you could do obviously a black dot there. I don't think I've got my Sharpie here, so I'll just leave it like that. So I'm just going to tear this now. Just tear that down. I mean, again, actually, I could stains this. Would look quite cool. So perhaps I will. Oops. Move these stamps to one side. And again, just grab in that stains and, or the brush, sorry, that I'd used for the stains. And I just ink that, or paint it over. Okay. Oops. Just looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, let me just pop that to one side. And I'm just going to peel this off that paper, otherwise it could get stuck onto the book page. So I'm just going to kind of rest it on those stamped pieces. I'll just now pop that out the way whilst that's all drying. Now, the other thing that she did, she had some stencils which were numbers. Now, again, I haven't really got numbers, but this one here that I have used this before recently. This one has got numbers in it, if you can see. It's just got some small numbers at the bottom. So I'm just going to tear this, well, not tear it, sorry, open this up and do some of those. Now, she did hers with texture paste that she mixed up. So that's where I say this video is going to get messy. Now, I've got this texture paste. I can't claim to have used this for, I mean, like really, 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 really a long time. Like, we're talking years probably. So all I'm going to do is get a bunch of book page, and then what she did was mixed in some of her, you know, these alcohol inks with the texture paste to colour it, because of course, you know, it's white. So I'm just going to squirt out a whole bunch. This is where I find it's just not even going to come out because it's so old. Oh, there we go. And I'm quite surprised that that is coming out, to be fair, because it's so long since I've used this. Okay, and then I'm going to take my little spatula-y thing, which again, this has not been used for many, probably years. It's covered in dust and things. It's been in my pot, so it's not actually been out, you know, on display, but for some reason it has still managed to get very dusty. And then she mixed in some ink. Now, again, I'm new to this technique, so I hope I'm not going to just, you know, make a horrible mess of this, but okay. So I went very, very light with that because I didn't want to kind of get too much and have it really dark, but actually I think it needs to be darker. Again, I'm just now thinking that the book page was a mistake because of course the ink is just sinking through and not really, you know, it should have been, maybe I should have done it on some acetate or something. It's going really quite a nice colour. It looks a bit like ice cream actually. Okay, and then I've also, so that was using latte. I've also got some butterscotch. I really don't use these particularly, I've got to be truthful. I used them when I dyed my, you know, Hawaiian flowers, and that's probably the only time I've used them in about the last year, but oh, they're not really, that's not really going a very good colour, is it? Oh well, I have got this. Now, do these squeeze out? No, maybe not. Whoa! So sorry. Whoops. Right, I've just made a huge mess, as you can probably see. So now I'm covered in ink. I did use your wipes, Amy, so thank you so much that you kindly had sent me to get the alcohol ink off. Sadly, it actually only got off some of it, so I'm still sort of semi-covered in it. But, you know, they were brilliant, so thank you so much. It's certainly a lot better than I would have been without them. But, yep, it's gone everywhere. So, yep, even messier than I had expected this video to get. Right, as you can see, it also covered my tag. So that's a bit of a shame. So, I mean, the back I will probably then line this onto something else. But, I mean, the front, actually, I quite like those little splodges. They all kind of add to it. So that's all fine. As you can see, I then obviously have this huge, gigantic mess here that is my texture paste, which is now, yuck, you know, just saturated completely in the ink. But however, it is much darker than it was, so I guess that's a good thing. So sorry, I've got so messy here, it's just embarrassing actually. I should never really do any messy things at all. I mean, when I saw Barbara's video, I thought, oh, I'll come and have a play, but yeah, I thought it was going to get messy, but even I didn't anticipate quite this messy. Now, what she did was she put hers onto fabric. I've got this little piece of Hessian here, so I'm going to try it on here. I will do a line of numbers. Now, what I probably want to do is do some this way, and then I might be able to turn the fabric around and get some more on the other side. I don't know whether I've got enough texture paste. I've never done this technique before, so bear with me. It may be, you know, really awful. So we're just, oh gosh. Yeah, I'm not making a great job of this so far. I probably haven't really got the right shaped spreader either, so that's probably not helping. So I'm just going to fill it in. Probably I need a bit more. It's obviously being a bit stingy, I think, with the paste. There we go, that's hopefully a bit better. And then just a bit here, just to finish it off. As I say, I mean, I have not done this before. I don't know what it's going to be like. Okay, well, as you can see, it would have been okay, but I have dolloped the texture paste quite a bit around the numbers. So what I could do here is maybe scrape them off. I wonder whether I've got another scraper, because I did buy all this stuff several years ago and then, you know, never actually ended up using it. So I've got a little scraper here that I can maybe just scrape that excess off. Oh, that's not really working, to be honest, but oh well. Oh well, we'll just kind of leave that there, and then when I come to use it, I might have to just cut it round or something. We'll see how it goes. So that's that one. I mean, I think probably I could do with it darker still, or when that's dry I might be able to ink that up slightly. So I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry for a moment, and then let's not waste the texture paste. So I'm just going to scrape that off and blob it back on here. Or actually what I could do is, whilst I've got it, is just try it on the book page. Maybe it would be better than the fabric. So we'll just see how we get on here. I mean, it's always incredible, I think, how easy people make things look, and then when I try them, I'm always mortified at how difficult they actually are. I mean, can you see that? What a horrendous mess. Yeah, so I clearly need to improve my techniques a little bit with the texture paste. Let me move that to one side to dry as well. So what I might do is dry this, or scrape this clean again. I wonder whether if I just go over with the thinnest coat, whether that would be better. Maybe I was trying to get it too thick. What do you think? Let's have a look. Not brilliant. Not too bad actually, but not brilliant. So maybe I was going too thick with the texture paste. So let's just try that again. So perhaps we'll do, well, we'll I guess stick with the same, but I'll try and sort of place it on so as I've got a bit more. And I might as well use all that I've mixed on there. Oh, it's a bit like baking now. A bit like baking. Right, okay. So I'll just then spread this out. I might be able to even get the word Paris in there. Yeah, I mean, maybe I was just trying to be too thick with the texture paste, and that's why I've obviously never really mucked around with these kinds of things, because you know, clearly I thought it was beyond me, and perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. But I mean, it's fun to have a go at things, isn't it? You know. Right, let's have a look. Okay, well that's a bit better. So I'm thinking I was just a bit heavy-handed with the texture paste, thinking it had to be very, very thick and raised. But as you can probably see, when it's thinner and just more spread, it's kind of coming out better. So let's see if I can, let's wipe the stencil off a little bit. Otherwise I'm just kind of marking everything that I put it next to. Oh, that's quite cool, isn't it, in itself? So perhaps I'll keep that, because I can always use these for other things. So just pop that to one side and then just clean it off again. Like that. Okay. And I'll just clean the back of it so it's not going to mark everything that I touch from here on. Okay, right. I'm thinking maybe some other fabric, or I have got this, which was the cover of one of the London News publications. And I'm just thinking maybe if I do a little bit on here, that would be kind of cool. So perhaps I would just try and go for just this little line of numbers here. Don't know how much texture paste I've really got left, but let's just have a look. Okay. So let's just blob it on. Oh, straight away I've gone. I wonder how you stop from going off the edges. You know what I should have done? Should have used some tape at the edge, and then I wouldn't have gone over the edge, would I? Right, so there's a little tip for next time, is possibly, you see, and straight away I've put my fingers in this, I can't help it. Right, so I'm thinking for next time, stick this down with some tape at the side, and that would obviously stop me from going right over the edge there. Okay, so I mean, obviously the number 1 has come out pretty blobbishly, but the rest is quite nice. So I'll just again put that to one side, dry that off again, or wipe that off again, like that. Okay, right, let me just wipe these, although I've got some more on there, so I'm thinking I could possibly get something else out of that. So let's just, oh gosh, I'm really covered in mess now, I must say. Yeah, again, this is another one of those things that I just never really see other people end up so messy as this, but never mind. We work how we work, don't we? So, right. So I'm going to try it here again, and I'm going to obviously try with a lot less paste. Now, unfortunately, I can't really stick something over here because I'm going to then, you know, touch my wet numbers. So I'm going to, you know, have that same blobby thing happening again over the edge, but that's fine. So I'm going to, again, just take some of this. I'm just going to rub it on with my fingers. I mean, this clearly not the way to do this at all, but we'll see how it looks. Okay, so not too bad actually. I mean, oddly, yeah, not too bad. So again, let me just leave that to dry, and then I might as well just use up this little remaining piece of the texture paste that I've got. So again, might as well just do it on here. Perhaps I'll do that word instead. So let me just pop that down there, and then I'll just do it again with my finger. It's not ideal. And again, I can't really put any tape down because it's going to then touch those numbers, but I do know that, you know, going forward, that's what I should do. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yay, that looked a bit better, didn't it? So, right, the trick there, for those people who don't know, don't want to make the same mistakes I made, you do not have to go so thick with the texture paste. It was just that obviously in Barbara's video it looked really quite raised, and I thought, oh, you know, go loads kind of thing, go lots of paste. But yeah, in hindsight, lots of paste was not not necessary at all. Right, okay, so hopefully we're kind of getting somewhere. So what I'm going to do is just move all these out of the way now. And I'll just quickly give this a wipe off and then move those out the way as well. Okay, right, let's move them. So let's bring our tag back in. I'll just get rid of that to the side as well. Okay, and let's just get a clean book page to lean on if we need to. So for this one, for instance, I mean, as I say, I'm going to have to now cover, you know, put something over the back because, of course, I've, you know, mucked that up with that big, huge splodge. Okay, so I've got the back of some book page here. So this is the, like, fly sheet, I think they call them, you know, from the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, my Edith Holden book. So I'll just pop it onto there. So again, just go all the way around the edge. Oops, my glue's not really flowing either very well. So this is just one of those days, I'm afraid. We all have those days sometimes, don't we, where, you know, nothing quite goes to plan. This is obviously one of them for me. Well, that has turned out to be a happy accident because can you just see down there in the corner? I love how that looks on that tag. It looks really good, doesn't it? So, yeah, although nothing else much was as I planned it, that looks, you know, really nice, I think. So, right. Let's now cut that out. And obviously, you know, you could stitch around this as well. I'm just going to cut it for the time being. You know, I could always stitch it afterwards if I feel it needs that. Okay. Right. There we go. Now, she then put obviously some, you know, some layering and things like that in the background, which looked really good. And I'm thinking my texture paste pieces are not going to be anywhere near dry to use for a little bit. So what we'll do is just kind of layer up some other elements and do some sort of random stamping and things in the background to just, you know, fill up the spaces really on the background. So I've got some numbers here also from my number printables, which I can just, you know, place some of those in some random places, and then might have something, just having a look to see what I've got that would be just, you know, just ideal on here. Trying to pick something that's reasonably thin paper because obviously now this is, you know, getting thicker and thicker because it's now obviously been backed. So we could have some sheet music. I always love sheet music, to be honest, so we could have that there. Okay, let's glue some of these elements down. Okay. So actually I'm going to have this, I think, here. Because I don't really want to cover up all of those splodges. I quite like how they look. So we'll just pop that down. And I think I have like those like that. They're quite nice, aren't they? Yeah, I love that brown, to be honest. I mean, the irony, I couldn't have, you know, done that had I tried, to be honest. Going to have that one sort of right there by the edge. And then I might have to actually dry off this with my heat tool so that I can use this, because I'm thinking that would be a really good colour on here. So yeah, I'm just going to dry that. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've got this now. Now, I don't know whether you can see that, but for some reason in the drying process, this has now gone very pink looking. Before, it was much more kind of beigey brown. It's now looking quite pink. So again, you know, I'm just going to have to work with that. It's not at all how I would have planned it. It's not really how I wanted it. But again, I'm just going to kind of try and try and make the best of it. So that being said, I've got some other elements that I might be able to incorporate on the tag to sort of just bring that sort of coloration in. So I'm just going to tear this down like that. I'll just tear it across there. So we could have that down there. Now, been waiting obviously for this to dry as well. That was, you know, drying with that Patty Pocket stains. So, I mean, I'm quite liking that. And I'm thinking we could just incorporate that. Now, the other thing that Barbara did in her video was she used her, you know, distress stain, these things, the one that I've just had leak everywhere all over my desk. So I don't know how this is going to go. And she just did this splat in the corner of her tag. Again, I've never seen anyone do that before. And it looked awesome. So I'm going to have a go at that. Now, I did try this before this video and it did work. Obviously, that was before I've, you know, damaged my stains. So what I'm going to do is just take these elements off of here for a moment. And I'm just going to kind of splodge it. Now, she just went down like, ooh, mine's not working, obviously, because it's now, you know, the top's damaged. So that's fine. So what I'm going to do is just use a bit of that to maybe get a bit of that edging going on like we had at the bottom. So that's fine. Right, so as you can see, I've just now had another mishap with my distress stain. Because obviously it's now broken and the lid's sort of pinged off, I can't really achieve what I was trying to achieve with this one. It's not working. So therefore, I'm going to have to do what she had done using my blue here. So obviously this is not ideal. This is not what I had planned really. I wanted to go with the brown. But you know, that's fine. We can obviously, we can work with it. So what she did was she just went like this and she got that awesome splodge. Isn't that so cool? Now, I have never seen anyone do that before and I just love it. Absolutely love it. So I might just have another one here so it's a bit bigger. And to be honest, might as well just do another one maybe down here. Like that. Okay. So then we've got the blue kind of over the, you know, incorporated properly sort of across the tag. I mean, honestly, I'd never seen that done before. And what an awesome technique. You know, I mean, obviously even I can manage that. But it just looks so cool, doesn't it? So whilst I wait for that to dry, let's see if my other tags are dry. Okay, these are dry now. As you can see, I've now picked up some mess on this one, which that's a bit of a shame, but you know, never mind. Doesn't really matter too much. So I'm just going to cut my corners down like that and like that. Okay. Now, I always like roughing up my edges. I know this isn't everybody's thing. I know Sheree in particular, you don't like it, so I apologise there. But yeah, I'm just going to distress those. So I'm having a complete change with that other tag because I've had to go with the blue. You know, we're going to have a bit of a change on this one instead. So let me just pull in some book page to kind of just pop underneath there now. I'm going to just put that lid on. Sorry, I'm aware that I have got a lot of stuff going on my desk today. Obviously, because this is a very messy project, it's hard to, you know, work in some sort of neat, organised way. Right, I'm just going to distress ink around here, like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my mask in, or stencil, sorry, not mask. My stencil, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to muck around with texture paste. Given up with that. I'm going to use my ink and just ink a couple of markings on here, I think. So I'm just going to take my vintage photo and just ink those numbers, hopefully. Again, I'm wondering whether I could have done this with my stays on. I don't know really how well it would have worked, but I maybe could have done them with the stays on. I mean, don't they look gorgeous? They look really nice, don't they? So yeah, maybe the texture paste is not really my thing. Perhaps I should steer clear from that going forward. It's probably wise, isn't it? And I'm just going to, I think, put some more numbers down here. So what I might do is just, I wish I had that black soot now, because you know, I see lots of people using that and I think, oh, that would have been quite cool to have used that. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just attempt this. It's probably not going to work very well, but we'll just try it. So I'm just taking the corner of my stays on and just rubbing that around my numbers. Because if I dip my brush in, of course, you know, to the stays on, it's going to stain it quite badly. So there we go. Okay, let's have a look. Well, not too bad. I mean, it's not come out brilliantly, I have to say, but it's not too bad. So again, let me just wipe my stencil just a little bit. Okay, and then just going to put some sort of bits and pieces up, layering up on here. So let me see what pieces I've got. Got my, you know, numbers here. And actually I brought this one along as well because I thought this was really good sort of colour match. So just going to take this down like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I think, so I'm going to ink this up just to make it a little bit more grungy, but I'm also going to go round it with some of the black, so as it's looking, you know, much more standouty. Okay, so that looks nice, doesn't it? And then we're just going to incorporate some of these other numbers on here. So, I mean, that's quite nice. Now I'm thinking, obviously I was going to have this on the other tag, but now that we've changed the mode and we're going to go for much more blue themed, I think I'm going to just have this on here now because, you know, I think that's probably the way to go. Now, I'm so miffed that this isn't working. Let me just try it again. Ah, right, okay, we have liftoff. So it is very splodgy, which isn't ideal, but it is working. So I am going to try that again. I'm going to move my pieces off so that I don't just literally ruin everything. Let's hope that this works and doesn't just spoil my tag completely. So I'm going to have it here. All right, so as you can see, it's very, very drippy. You know, quite a sort of splodgy splodge, but it's fine. Like that. And then what I could do is just like run this around the edges a little bit of the tag. I mean, this is very, very winging it here, winging it crafting. Just pop a bit more there. Try and go round that corner a little bit more. Okay, well, I quite like that. So I'm going to now leave that to dry. I've just got a couple of bubbles that I'm going to try and get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one to dry now. And we might just be able to pull back in the blue one. So let's have a look. I think this is dry. Yeah, so it's looking better now. Right, okay. So plan B with this one now. Sorry, we're switching back and forth, back and forth. I do apologise. Right, so this one, obviously, we're going to have a change now because it did not go to plan at all. So what I'm going to do is incorporate maybe one of these gorgeous blue-green kind of numbers because that would be awesome on here. So let's just cut this down. I mean, again, Barbara had some awesome ideas as to where to source numbers from. So, you know, if you haven't got my numbers and you know, you don't want to buy them, you don't need to. You can obviously source numbers in all different places. You know, obviously, I mean, for me, they're just a bit of a time saver because, you know, I know that I've got them here rather than having to hunt around and kind of find them on things. I can just use these, which is, you know, just super handy really when you're doing videos. But by all means, you know, you do not have to be using mine at all. So I've got that one there. Now I bought along these stickers as well. So I've got these with these little numbers. So let's just, again, these are from my scrapbooking days. Haven't used them, you know, ever. As you can see, it's a brand new packet. Never used them. Oops. There we go. So this is an ideal opportunity to use some, really. I'm so sorry that my desk is getting so full. It's just one of those projects, I'm afraid, that's just now literally taken over everything, I'm afraid. Now I'm wondering whether we could incorporate some of this. So what I might do is do like a, I don't know, 3, 6, 7 or something like that. So we'll put a 6 like that, and then a 7. Oops. Oh, come on. Ah, they're fiddly to get off, I must say. Right, so we're going to have those there like that. Now, I've just thought what I also could do is do, with that stencil again, we could just pop some detail in the back. So I'm just going to run a couple of numbers, I think, maybe along here. And I'm just wondering whether I could use some blue-green ink. So I've got this gorgeous colour that I was gifted in Happy Mail, but I've also got this one, which again I was gifted in Happy Mail. I've still not even opened it, so this is going to be my first time of using this. It's Broken China, which actually I think is the same colour as that blue one that I've just used. Yep, Broken China. How awesome is that? It's not often that that happens, is it? So yep, I can definitely use that. So let's now just take our brush or pad. I'm just seeing whether I've got a brush or a pad already on the go, you know, that I've used for colours. Okay, look at that gorgeous colour. So I'm just going to go like here and just do a bit there. Like that. Oh, don't they look gorgeous? I love that colour. This was Amy who gifted me these in Happy Mail, and I can't thank you enough, Amy, because that's such an awesome colour. Honestly, I mean, I love using colour, and yeah, that just looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to do the other numbers down here, I think. So we just go down there. And how lucky was that they just happened that they were the same colour as the distress stain that I had. What were the odds of that? That never happens, does it? Oh, I love, love, love that colour. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right, let's move that out of the way. Let me put that in the drawer. Right, so I'm going to have this. I do want something else behind it. So let me see what else I've got. I had something else beside me that would have looked quite cool. Let's have a look. Right, so I've just got this piece here, which I think would just tie in as well. So we can have that kind of layered up there. And again, I'm just going to go around that. Oh, I just can't get enough of that colour. It's so, so lovely. I love it. Absolutely love it. Right, so I might have it like that, I think. So I'm just going to ink that up. Now I'm wondering, do I want to ink this in blue? That's quite daring, isn't it? Let's go for it. Let's be daring. Yeah, I mean, this video clearly has taken on a life of its own. Not gone to plan at all. But, you know, sometimes when things are not going to plan, you get the nicest results. So I'm just kind of embracing it and going with it. Okay, I love how that looks. So I'm just going to glue this down. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay. So we've got that one, and then this, I'm tempted to pop this onto, you know, foam pads to have it sort of raised. I think would look quite nice. So I think I'm going to do that. If I can get my foam pads out my drawer, which is now sort of wedged closed. Right, okay. So, oh, they're in a sorry state, aren't they? Look at them. Right. So let's just pop them on. Now, I'm always really worried about when I use foam pads, you know, the things not really being stuck down everywhere, because then, of course, you know, you've got a risk of your pieces getting damaged. So I use probably way too many foam pads, really. So what I like to do, these are square ones, and just cut them down, and then you can fit them into, you know, much smaller spaces than obviously when they're huge, giant pads. Okay, so we'll pop those down there. That one there. Getting sort of texture paste now all over this. And then again, I just fill in literally all those spaces. So I'll put one in here, and then maybe that one there. Anywhere where I think it's going to be a bit vulnerable and sort of likely to, you know, get damaged. Right, so that's that one, and then just going to peel all those backings off. It's a bit tedious. Okay. I tell you what, I've just suddenly thought as well, actually, because I want to have that black chevrony paper on here, you know, with this thing. So I'm going to actually, I think, have a little bit poking out somewhere, because I think that would just break it up nicely as well. So I might just have that somewhere. So again, I might just ink that up with the blue again, because you know, that would just tie it in as well. So just ink that up here a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue that down, checking where I want that. Do we want it going along here, and then this on top, or like that? Probably like that. So just going to glue this down. Okay, like that. And then I really am always very worried about these pads not sticking, so I will actually glue this down as well as the, you know, adhesive on the pads themselves, because I'm just never really 100% that they're going to stay glued. So like that, all around. Then we can just pop that down there. Oh, I love how that looks. Love how that looks. Okay, let's just check that foam pad's not poking out. Okay, so that looks really, really gorgeous, doesn't it? Yeah, I really love that. And then what I might do is just go round the whole edge. Now, do we want to go around the whole edge in black? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just going to go around the whole edge of the tag in black, like that. Okay, And then the final thing that I just want to add is this little piece here, which I'm thinking if we just tear that down, just wondering whether we could have this coming off somewhere, attached on one of those, you know, hole reinforcers. So maybe we could have it here, or perhaps we'll just have it there. Perhaps we'll just have it there. So again, I'm just going to then distress ink this one, so that mainly I get those stickers, you know, a little bit more aged looking. And we can just have that, I think, there. I'd really like to have this on one of those hole reinforcers. I wonder whether we could just have it here, maybe. Oh, let's just have it here or there. Then I'm covering that number 4 up, which, not that that probably matters, but let's just tear this down. Perhaps it's better without it. Oh, I don't know now. What do you guys think? Perhaps it's better without that. I can always incorporate this on the next one. Right, so we've got that one, and then I'm just going to have a little, you know, punchy hole. Actually, do I want, thinking actually maybe a tab would be good. And actually we could have it in this. So like that. Just cut that right down. And then what I'm thinking is we could do this, outline it with the blue, you know, edge it with the blue. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut that down slightly more. Do my little circles either end. Oh no, where's my circle punch? There it is. I knew that was here somewhere, but I just had to locate it. So we'll just have circle here, circle here. Like that. So that looks really nice, doesn't it? And then we'll just ink that up with the blue. Just do it either side, like that. Okie dokie. So that's really nice, isn't it? I might just make that slightly smaller. Like that. Okay, so I love how that looks, and we'll just then glue that down. Like that. Oh, honestly, and I thought I was possibly going to make 3 tags in this video. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? You know, I'm going to be lucky to get 2 done, because I've stopped and started so many times. I've not got the foggiest idea how long I've actually been filming for. So, yeah. Okay, well that's really nice. The other thing that I am thinking would be quite cool is actually below the tab, oops, have a hole. So just, if I can actually get in that far, I don't think I can. Oh, that's such a shame. I wonder whether I can. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to get in. Now, why does that side not want to go down? That might be better. Right. So I'm thinking if we have a little hole here, just then pop a hole reinforcer in. Like that. And then what we could do is just have something else like hanging from it. So I might just have, I don't know, one of these or something. So out. Just think we could have that hanging, would be quite nice, wouldn't it? So again, just ink that up a little bit, and just going to put a little hole, I think, with my pokey tool. So I'll just put that through there. Okay. Okay, so I think what's going to really suit this is some of those ball chain thingy-mees. So I'm just going to then, which actually I'll then have to punch a bigger hole, but that's fine. So I'll just cut this down to the approximate size. Oops, oh my gosh, can't see a thing. Oh dear. Right, and then just get my end. I'm going to have to make that hole bigger, so I'll use the small punch, you know, from the crocodile there. Actually, I might be able to put an eyelet in there if I've got any small ones. Yep, I've just got some tiny ones here. What colours are these? I'll go with the blue. So just pop that through there like that, and I probably need to change my thingy. Oops. Oh, I'm so rubbish with the crocodile. Let's hope that it works, because it doesn't always want to work, does it? Well, I find it doesn't always want to work. Okay. Right, there we go. And pop my end on here. Oh dear, again, I can't see anything. Right, I'm going to have to probably finish the next tag in another video, because this video, as I say, I've lost track of how long it's gone on for because I've stopped and started so many times, but I'm pretty sure it's gone on for quite a while. So yeah, I will probably have to, oh, that's not going to fit through there. I'll do the other end. I will probably have to come back and do this in another, you know, finish the other ones in another video. Right. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh my gosh, come on. I literally can't see this at all to thread that through. Right, hurrah. So that's that number tab. So, number tag. So, yep, completely inspired by Barbara. So, thank you so much, Barbara, if you catch this video. Absolutely awesome. I loved many of your techniques. Obviously, I failed miserably at carrying some of them off. But I'm going to come back and we will hopefully play and do the other tags as well. So thank you so much. And as I say, I will link Barbara's video below and hopefully catch you guys soon. Thanks then. Bye.